My name's Tinker Hatfield, and I have been a shoe designer at Nike and a corporate architect, and now I'm vice president of design and special projects. I was originally hired at Nike in 1981 as the corporate architect, and so my first 4.5 years at Nike were spent mostly designing office spaces and showrooms, stores, and I was convinced that architecture was the profession for me because it is probably one of the best examples of the combination of kind of art and science and sort of, I think, cultural experience. When I was asked to start designing shoes, and it was actually a request by someone here at Nike, I jumped at the chance because I realized for the environment I was in and for the future that designing shoes was where the real action was. The very first more high-profile project, and as it turns out, a very controversial one, was really the Airmax, the original Airmax with a visible air window, and along with it, some other shoes that were presented as a package. As I often say, when you sit down to design something, it can be anything. It can be a car, a toaster, a house, a tall building, or a shoe. What you draw or what you design is really a culmination of everything that you've seen and done in your life previous to that point. And I had been to Paris. I had been to a lot of us at Nike have traveled extensively to try and be inspired, to understand people from all over the world in different cities, different cultures, different regions. I had known about this very interesting, very innovative, and very controversial building called the Georges Pompidou Center. It was one of my must-sees when I was in Paris. I had to go and coming into the plaza surrounding the center, and then just to see the stark contrast between the traditional French style of mansard roofs and small windows and sort of row housing, if you will, and then to see this large, almost machine-like building sort of spilling its guts out into the world. In other words, you could just see everything. You could see the escalators and the heating and air conditioning. You could see the levels of the different parts of the museum, and I could see people. It really inspired me because it really shook the world of architecture. It shook the world of urban design. It really changed the way people looked at buildings. For many, it changed for the worse. But in my eyes, it changed for the better. I don't know if I was thinking, well, now I'm going to go design a shoe based off of this. I don't think I was thinking that way. I just remember being really super influenced by it and having my architectural senses sort of turned upside down. We had technically tried to increase the size of our airbag cushioning. So the encapsulated airbags that we were using for, especially in the heel cushioning, were a little bit smaller. They were encased inside all of this polyurethane, and you couldn't see it. And really, most people didn't understand what air was.
We have finally designed a bag that puts the largest amount of air into the shoes for cushioning, But we've also widened the bag so that we're not sacrificing stability at all.
Well, that's great, but how are we going to fit an air sole this wide into our midsoles?
Yeah, but why not just show it? You know, it's not a bad idea to let people actually see what an airbag looks like. As a matter of fact, I've got a drawing here that actually shows what a shoe could look like with a visible window in the heel.
I'm fully convinced that had I not seen the building, I might not have suggested that we actually expose this airbag and make it visual, and actually let people see inside the shoe. When you do something different, you have to have a pretty thick skin. People are going to take shots at you. They're going to criticize what they don't understand. And I just remember people being very upset about it, and the head of marketing for running was not in favor of that shoe, and just couldn't see how that we could sell a shoe that had a hole in the side of it that you know, people thought it was going to be too vulnerable, and the airbags would be punctured, and that it just didn't look like a normal running shoe. And even the color of the shoe, which had this bright red sort of rand or the stripe all the way around the bottom, just above the midsole. If you go to the back to the Pompidou Center, not only did Piano and his team expose all of the inside of the structure and the mechanical systems, but he painted everything in bright colors because he wanted those things to be visible from a distance, and that to be striking, and to maybe shake people up even a little bit more. And I think that's what happened with the Airmax too. I really wanted to just push it as far as I could possibly push it without being fired. I believe that that entire air pack of shoes, including the Airmax, was probably pretty pivotal in changing around Nike's sort of direction.